Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, your trusted source for timely updates and deep insight into the evolving currency landscape of Iraq. In today's report, we dive into a landmark decision that could reshape the nation's economic future. As of the current date in the USA, the Central Bank of Iraq has officially begun the retirement process for its 25,000 50,000 dinar notes. While at first glance this might seem like a logistical adjustment, it carries profound implications for Iraq's financial system, signaling possible currency restructuring and long-awaited reforms that could change the country's trajectory. This move by the central bank isn't just a currency swap. It's a calculated and deliberate strategy aimed at stabilizing the financial environment. Citizens across the nation can now bring their high-denomination bills to designated banks and licensed exchange centers for conversion. It's a plan designed to reduce reliance on large cash transactions, which have long contributed to issues like inflation, corruption, and illicit market flow. Eliminating these denominations allows Iraq to move toward a cleaner, more manageable monetary system, one that's easier to regulate and aligns with global best practices. Understanding why this decision matters requires a closer look at Iraq's current economic backdrop. Despite some diversification efforts, the country's fiscal health still leans heavily on oil revenues. For 2024, about 91% of the $17 billion, 0 cents, in federal income came from oil exports. Although that's a marginal improvement from the previous 95% dependency, it still places Iraq in a vulnerable position. Crude prices, which currently average $68.65 per barrel, fall well short of the preferred benchmark of $84.00. This price gap limits budgetary planning and weakens financial resilience. Replacing large, unstable notes with smaller, more secure ones is part of a broader effort to shield the economy from shocks and foster greater stability. The exchange process itself has been streamlined. Iraqis are advised to visit only officially sanctioned locations to turn in their 25K and 50K notes, which will be replaced with redesigned currency incorporating advanced anti-counterfeit features. The new notes are expected to be more durable and better suited for everyday transactions. However, there is a time-sensitive nature to this program. Citizens must act quickly, as failing to exchange in time could result in holding obsolete paper with no value. Authorities are also warning against using unauthorized outlets, as scams are increasing. Fraudulent actors are taking advantage of uninformed individuals with fake rates or unlicensed operations. Staying informed and using official channels is critical during this period. But the shift isn't just technical. It's also symbolic. For years, the Iraqi public has struggled with eroding confidence in their own currency. Political unrest, inflation, and years of financial mismanagement left many hesitant to rely on the dinar. This bold step by the central bank sends a message that the country is working to restore trust and modernize. Encouraging people to use official banks improves transparency, supports tax collection, and discourages the stockpiling of physical cash. It also nudges the country toward a more digital and traceable economy, consistent with international financial norms. When people believe in their national currency, they're more likely to save, invest, and contribute to growth. Real-life stories are already surfacing. Take Ahmed, a small business owner in Baghdad. For months, he kept a large stash of 25,000 dinar notes, unsure whether it was safe to deposit them or use them to grow his business. Now, with the exchange underway, he's finally taking that leap, reinvesting in his company and planning expansion. He's not alone. Across the country, entrepreneurs are beginning to feel the ripple effects of this monetary reset. As cash is funneled back into the banking system, credit activity is expected to rise. That means more opportunities for startups, job creation, and improved economic momentum. While these local improvements are important, the central bank's strategy has broader ambitions. Beyond modernizing its banknotes, Iraq is preparing to redefine the role of the dinar on the international stage. Currently, most transactions are still pegged to the US dollar, but with tighter financial oversight and stronger local currency controls, The goal is to elevate the dinar as a base currency in foreign exchange. This would mark a dramatic shift, granting Iraq more independence in its monetary policy and potentially reducing its dependency on the dollar. In practical terms, this shift would reverse the current structure of the USD/IQD exchange rate. Right now, the dollar is the anchor, with the dinar adjusting accordingly. But if the dinar becomes the leading currency in the pair, it would give Iraq more control over rate stability and reduce vulnerability to external shocks. Such a move could also improve investor confidence, stimulate foreign capital inflows, and boost national pride. Although this goal may take time to fully implement, retiring high-denomination notes is an essential foundation for that transition. Adding to the momentum is the central bank's rollout of a new oversight mechanism known as DNA, Digital Note Authentication. This high-tech tool enables the tracking of currency circulation, making it harder for criminal networks to engage in counterfeiting or laundering. More than a security measure, DNA could serve as the framework for larger innovations like smart contracts, asset tracking, and digital finance infrastructure. Many observers believe it's an early signal of Iraq's interest in blockchain-compatible financial solutions, which would bring the country into closer alignment with modern global standards. This transformation also has the potential to change domestic investor behavior. With a safer financial climate, many Iraqis may choose to keep their capital inside the country rather than moving it offshore. That reinvestment could help stimulate local industries and reduce reliance on foreign assistance. International investors are watching too. If Iraq demonstrates that these reforms are more than cosmetic, it could open the door for greater involvement in energy, infrastructure, and technology projects, benefiting everyone from farmers in the countryside to developers in the cities. And that's where we'll pause, right at the edge of the broader impact these changes could have both within Iraq and across its international partnerships. In the second half of this report, we'll explore how these reforms are poised to reshape daily life, what risks could threaten the success of this exchange, and whether this could eventually lead to a full-scale redenomination or even revaluation of the Iraqi dinar. As we continue this report from Iraqi Dinar News, the picture becomes even clearer. Iraq's currency exchange is not a simple financial housekeeping exercise, it's a statement of intent. And for the average Iraqi citizen, these changes are beginning to touch real aspects of daily life. More capital moving into the formal banking system means greater access to loans, more small business funding, and the potential for large-scale investments in housing, education, and healthcare. These improvements may seem incremental, but for millions of families they represent a chance to escape financial stagnation and build a better future. A more secure and modernized currency also carries emotional weight. After years of instability, this change gives people hope that Iraq is turning a page. Retiring outdated notes is more than just clearing out old paper. It's a gesture that signals movement toward transparency, order, and economic renewal. It builds a sense of national identity around financial responsibility. When people see their government taking clear, consistent steps to modernize, they're more likely to believe in the system, participate in it, and advocate for its success. The world is watching. For international observers and global financial entities, Iraq's current direction sends a strong signal. The country is preparing to do business on a different level. Removing high-value bills that previously enabled black market activity and illicit trade is a sign that Iraq is ready to play by international financial rules. This could help the nation secure better terms with trade partners, attract foreign corporations, and even shift some cross-border contracts to be priced in dinar rather than US dollars. Although such outcomes are still on the horizon, the groundwork being laid today makes them far more plausible in the future. Yet, with transformation comes risk. One of the biggest hurdles facing the currency exchange program is public awareness, especially in rural and underserved areas. While major cities may have access to banking infrastructure, mobile alerts, and televised announcements, smaller communities often lag behind. Without strong outreach efforts, large segments of the population could miss deadlines or fall prey to misinformation. That's why it's critical for the government to roll out a nationwide education campaign using every tool available: television, radio, mosque announcements, even door-to-door visits if needed. Misinformation can derail progress just as easily as poor planning. Speaking of misinformation, scams are already beginning to emerge. Individuals posing as official exchange agents are offering inflated rates or promising faster service, only to disappear with people's money. These predatory tactics thrive in times of uncertainty. The government must respond swiftly with enforcement, public service announcements, and visible consequences for fraud. Failing to act could undermine all the trust that's been rebuilt, especially if citizens begin to feel unsafe participating in the process. Another looming challenge is inflation. If the replacement of old notes leads to a surge of unregulated cash into the marketplace, prices could spike rapidly. That's why the central bank must manage this rollout with precision, closely monitoring liquidity, consumer pricing trends, and banking activity. Early reports indicate that the bank is in active coordination with international financial institutions to ensure global best practices are followed. If successful, Iraq can walk a careful line, introducing reform without triggering instability. Looking further ahead, speculation is mounting about what might come next. Some analysts believe this exchange sets the stage for a full currency redenomination, where extra zeros are removed from the dinar to improve its appearance and usability. A redenomination often serves as a psychological reset for an economy, signaling that it has moved past volatility and into a new phase of maturity. Others go further, suggesting that if Iraq continues on this track, we may see a revaluation where the dinar gains strength against other currencies. While such outcomes are still hypothetical, they no longer seem unrealistic. What was once dismissed as wishful thinking is now being discussed by economists, advisors, and even some regional governments. In preparation for these possibilities, attention is turning to technical details. Will the new currency designs feature holographic elements, color-shifting inks, or enhanced tactile marks for the visually impaired? Will ATMs be recalibrated to support the updated denominations? Will mobile banking platforms be overhauled to expand digital accessibility? These aren't cosmetic questions. They're critical infrastructure upgrades that would support a digital-forward economy and reduce dependence on physical cash. There's also growing curiosity around the longer-term technological direction of Iraq's financial system. The Digital Note Authentication (DNA) program may be a stepping stone toward broader reforms like blockchain integration or asset digitization. These innovations could lead to automated tax collection, transparent government procurement, and smarter contract enforcement. If Iraq embraces such systems, it won't just catch up with global trends, it could leapfrog ahead, becoming a model for modern financial architecture in the region. These steps, though rooted in policy, ultimately come down to trust. For the central bank and the government, this is a test of consistency, reliability, and credibility. Every deadline met, every scam prevented, and every question answered builds the foundation of that trust. For citizens, the test lies in participation. Are they willing to take the risk of returning to the formal banking sector? Will they believe that this time is different? If both sides hold up their end of the bargain, Iraq could witness a transformation unlike any in recent memory. To conclude, this moment is about more than notes and numbers. It's about rewriting the financial story of a country that has long been defined by crisis. From the streets of Baghdad to the furthest rural villages and in boardrooms abroad, this message is becoming clear. Iraq is choosing reform. The retirement of the 25,000, 50,000 dinar notes is a bold move, yes, but it's also the beginning of something far more significant: a modern, trusted, and internationally viable currency system. We'll continue tracking every milestone, analyzing new developments, and reporting the facts as they unfold. Here at Iraqi Dinar News, Our mission is to keep you informed, prepared, and one step ahead. If you found this update helpful, consider subscribing and sharing it with others who are following Iraq's journey toward economic transformation. And always remember, the true strength of a currency doesn't come from ink or paper. It comes from the belief of the people who use it.